Okay, very good morning. I hope you are settled for the class. So as per the notes, what I have checked with you, we have finished. We are in the process of discussing environment, and in the environment, demographic environment, we have already finished, and the economic environment, we haven't started yet. Oh, we have already done. On the demographic environment, and also we did an activity based on the demographic environment. So, I hope the virtual student, you can hear me. Whether the virtual students are there. Either they are sitting, can you in the only one student we have the problem is happening. They are here. So let's talk about the economic environment. Economic environment, we are basically concerned about the people's purchasing power. In the demographic environment, we talk about the people's attributes. So then in the economic environment, we are going to discuss about the people's purchasing power. So this is, as I told you, like this is general knowledge where you should learn on what's going on in surrounding us as a business firm. So I think you might be more expert for this one because you are coming from the finance background. How about the you should know about these things, like how about the Sri Lanka inflation and income distribution, unemployment, savings and credit availability, interest rate, and like those aspects you should have to have an idea about. Okay. So if I'm starting off with the inflation rate. So what's the inflation of Sri Lanka? Average inflation. Let's take. You can get that system from even the what's the Sri Lankan current inflation rate? Zero data. Take it and see. So what's the rate of that is for the month of August. Okay. For the month of August, it says 4%. Average. I'm not quite sure whether the different people might take with the different answers. 25% roughly. Okay. That is what one source says. Another source it says for the last month it was 4%. That means in August it was 4%. And then one source it says it's average 25%. Did anyone with someone other figure? He has got a kind of a table. So it is ranging like some it goes up to even 50 plus, some 52 even I can see it in her table. So if you take a business like the one which is operating in a particular country, you should have to have an idea about these figures. So now in Sri Lanka, so roughly different sources are saying different figures. But if you go to central bank report says something else. So do you think that like can we bring the inflation into a zero? You can't get it into the zero. So what should be the ideal level where the inflation should maintain as an economy? Below 10, yes, it's below 10, it should be 1-digit number. Okay? That's a world standard. So that's why in most cases where the central bank try their level best to keep it as a 1-digit number. But unfortunately, with the crisis, we couldn't keep those standards, and then our inflation, even for certain product categories, that went up to like more than 100%. And even it's reached 200%, 300%. Okay? So it shows that the crisis, economic crisis in the country, because it's reflected in the inflation. So then after that, what the policy makers did was like they changed the way of calculating inflation. How? Because they can't control how does this inflation happen, by the way? It's like the entire discussion is talking about like the general knowledge, like how do you feel yourself like this economic, the environment is changing. How come this inflation going up to that level? Purchasing power, people's purchasing power increases. So how the people's purchasing power suddenly increases? Because it's like a boom. Because it's not something gradually increases. So then suddenly all the prices went up.
So the interest rates was very low. So let's say it's around 10%. So that time the people take a lot of loans and they invested, and that way they earn the money. But now, then after it goes
go up, so that the people like almost like discouraging taking the loans and going for investment. Yes, that's one reason. I do agree with it. And also like what's the price of a product is being determined by the demand and the supply. That's a simple economic logic. Okay? So when there is few supply, when there is high demand for the same product, so many people demand. Like we have one water bottle and all of you want that water bottle. So you give one price and you give another price and you give another price and automatically prices goes up. Okay? So because you have the money, but the production is not that high. As you said that like once the people, like once the businessmen are having a problem, so that they are not expanding their businesses, once the businesses are not expanding the production, GDP won't increase across domestic production. Once the production is not increasing, we don't have sufficient product in the market, and also with the dollar prices, even the import also control. So then again, the product availability was very restricted in the market, but still people have the money. The one reason is like we know I'm also part of it, unfortunately, like the majority consists of the government sector employees. So for the government sector employees, like because of some malfunctions of the politicians, let's say, like the cash has been printed, pay the salary. Because after a mistake that should not have happened. Because so normally in the normal finance, it says that for a central bank to decide how much quantity of cash needs to be printed, there is certain the reserve that you have to consider. Based on the reserve that you have, then you have to decide like this is the quantity of cash we have to go ahead with the print. But people, those who don't have the brain, making the decision and they say that okay, print and pay the money for the government sector people. So the government sector people, that's okay within the country, it's accepted. Unfortunately, like luckily they can't print the dollar, otherwise they will certainly print the dollar also. They can print, but the problem is no one will accept it. So within the Sri Lanka, because they are the ones who give the authority for cash and also they have the authority of printing, so that they were doing it for several years. Then suddenly it's realized people are having the money but no production. So it went up to a huge inflation rate. Then after that, what they do? So that's something happening one side. Okay. And how about the okay, so if I'm connecting it with the savings, like so after that, like how the inflation control?
These fixed deposit rates and then they take back the money.
Excess money in the society. Yes. So that is the first thing the new governor did, like increase the interest rate of the bank, fixed deposit. So that those who are having some excess money, taken to the banking system. So that means the money supply control, because otherwise money supply is really high because the money has been printed and it's all been given. No production in that speed. So the unnecessary, it's not unnecessary, like some excess money that has been absorbed to the banking system. So that's why I think even when it went up to 20%, 20% of the interest rate for the fixed deposit. Along with that, they increased the lending rate as well. Because the difference between the fixed deposit rate and the lending rate is the bank profit. So then what happened? Like now I'm thinking it is the savings and the credit availability. So now, okay, the banks, they absorb the money. But the problem is once they absorb the money at a rate of 20%, the lending rate also went up to 30%. So the people are reluctant to take any loan at the rate of 30%. So then again, the taking loan also stopped. Is it a permanent solution then? Because the businessman should take there, because loans normally we take for two purposes, personal purposes as well as business purposes. So personal purposes, it doesn't have any kind of a contribution to the economy, but for business purposes, if the businessman can't stop taking the loans from the banking system, what would happen? It's really damaged the production sector. No business expansion. So if that is the case, it's another danger of the economy. So then after that, like what they did slowly, again reduce the deposit rate, because we don't want any more cash from you, because if the bank promised something, bank should give it. Because now in the one of the media, I missed that news, but I heard from some analysis, the one of the media said that now we are going to, now the deposit rate is quite, I think it's 10%. Yeah, like there's like 10, 12, yeah. It has gone down to that level, but still the lending rate is 20%. So there is a huge gap, like 80% difference between these two. And in one of the media, it says the lending rate also, they are going to get down to like 14%. So it has been declared, but declared means the media declared, not in the bank. And so then why the banks are not suddenly dropping, not suddenly dropping it down. Now the deposit rate is 10%, 12%, and it's in a decreasing trend. But the lending, they are still keeping us at 20%. Why? Why can't they reduce it to like 14% that quickly? Anyone who is in the banking sector? Why the banks are not like, even though the politicians, they will come to the media and say that, okay, we have taken down that as well. But the central bank still, they can't force the commercial banks to do it. Why? Yes, for sure, because they are also doing a business. Even though they are liable to the central bank, so they are independent bodies. They have to show that their banks are making profit. So how the banks are making profit? Through the lending as well as credit cards. So those are the earnings, and they have to run their overheads, they have to pay for staff at the same time. Very important, they have to make the promises for the customers. Otherwise, customers will withdraw all the money, then the entire banking system will collapse. So then certain deposits that has already been opened 1 year ago, maybe at a rate of 20%. Or maybe at a rate of 19%, 17%. Yeah, even that percentage, the FDs are still ongoing. So sometimes like those are finishing maybe in December, in January, February, March. So those people will come and ask in March, like you promised me 28%, now you have to give me. So if the lending percentage is getting down like to 17%, so how the bank is going to give that 28% out of the pocket of the manager? No. So that's why. Like if there is a policy, we should understand as business, like we call it as the banks, they also maintain a particular yield. We call it as yield management. So that yield, once it's reached to a particular maturity level, then the bank decides, okay, now we can reduce it by 2%. So it's not a sudden drop. step by step it will reduce, because the step by step on those the FDs are maturing and getting into their interest rate also getting down, then it's possible. Understand? So nowadays we should understand, like the savings are not that the prominent, I would say. People don't save. People don't. Why people don't save? Why you and me are not saving these days? Save is going like this is only for the Sri Lankan context. Unfortunately, I am giving the priority for the physical students. Okay. So savings only happen through the standing orders. I of course say from the standing orders. Otherwise, no. Everything the point I standing. Why people don't save these days? Because they don't have money to save. That's simple logic like that. Otherwise, it's not that we don't like to save because we don't have money to save. So therefore, our savings rate is really low. And also banks also want to encourage savings because they don't want to pay the deposits, interest against the fixed deposit because they are not also earning. So that's why their deposit rate also reduced. And if you just see, none of the banks are promoting now to for the savings accounts. None of the banks are promoting for the fixed deposits because they don't want any cash. They have enough cash. And then how the banking system is surviving, that is the case. Because the lending also not that attractive and the people don't save as such. So then what is the task of the banking system then? They don't have a business. How they get the profit? Credit card. Because that is what we say, like once the economy is in a crisis, people want anyhow to live. So the taking short-term loan is not viable because in the demographic environment we discussed, the Sri Lankan people are very much concerned about their dignity. So the majority is well educated, so that they want white-collar job. So they want to make their profession as an executive profession. So they don't want to undermine their profession. So therefore, like they don't want to go and ask from money from another person. So that they have feel that banks needs to fill up that requirement. Professional way of giving loans. So then it's a credit card, so it's a good business, and almost all the banks are nowadays promoting the credit card. The credit card interest rate is very high, even 36% effective. It's very much high, and even like if you're looking at the commercial point of view, having a credit card not using is also not useful. Like some people, they take the credit card and hardly use it because they know that if you use it, you are paying interest rate of 35%. If you are not like circulating your payments within that time period. If you might be doing it because you are financial people, not like marketing people, so it might be very concerned on those interests and those ones. So likewise, but the majority of the Sri Lankan people are not like that. So then keeping a credit card and without using is also not good for the bank. Why? Just having a credit card for the safe side is also not good. Yes, the purpose is getting the interest out of it. So how do you get the interest out of it? People should use it. If the people are not using it, so how are we going from where the chance interest? So that's why you might have observed these days, they are collaborating with so many commercial companies, like so many private companies for like especially clothing items. Like those days, normally we see those promotions only for the festival, for the New Year and also for the Christmas or like that. Now, I don't know, for like, they may not have even a reason to go on sale. Like maybe Father's Day, Mother's Day, I don't know, like how many days that they will celebrate, and the stock clearance, and also like there is no reason, I suppose, like different companies are just coming up and say that, okay, we have this promotion this weekend, so just come and then use your credit card or debit card. Like for the credit card, you see like the discount. For the credit card, discount is 20%, the debit card discount is 10%. So that means asking you to use more the credit card if you want to get that 20% discount. Always they give a difference, the magnitude difference, the double the benefit that you get from the credit card. But actually not. If you see the logic which is going on, because the 3% interest where the company needs to pay for the bank, they are charging from the customer. So the 20%, that is not ethical by the way the marketers are doing it, it's not ethical. So what they're doing is they're uplifting the prices. From the uplifted pricing, they calculate 20%. So it's a matter of perception. I told you, everything, even a price, everything is a matter of perception. How you get it? If someone says that this price was 9,000, now it is 7,000, we believe, but we really don't know whether it was 9,000. Sometimes it's actually 7,000. So someone says we do believe it in a way that the person is telling. So that is one thing, like how the commercial is addressing the inflation rate, and also how the interest rate had changed, and what has happened to the banking sector, and how the banking sector changed its way of doing the business, and in collaboration with the companies to promote the company's business as well as the bank service. So if I'm going ahead with the unemployment rate, how about Sri Lanka unemployment rate? So check it. Oh my God. 4.7% it says. So we are in such a beautiful country. So do you believe that we are with the 4.7 unemployment? Do you see the number of companies that's closing down? Like in the apparel sector itself, I think the brand they've already closed down 5 factories. So the close down, then what are going to do with their employees? They're unemployed. So unemployment means what? People, those who are able and willing to work, but there is no opportunity to work. With the rates that you see, the companies are closing down, especially SMEs. And also they are not opening on the businesses, and even the current businesses also closing down because they can't tolerate that high the bills that they're getting for the electricity, water, and the labor, so they can't do it. So the best thing is seize the economy, close down everything, and stay at home. Even some people even some government organizations even universities also. So not like us, and then there are a particular group, they say that no point of coming to the study. So they just do only we call it as individual work that's being assigned. Just come for the work and go home. This is say that no point of coming because of looking at the something like that. So likewise, it's like economy has been seized. It's been stopped. No one is doing anything, just observing what's going on. And so if that is the case, like hydromining, almost all the factories have closed down. So they have moved to Bangladesh. So look at in that way, can you believe that unemployment is 4.7? Unbelievable. So then why they're making it as at 4.7? What is the world standard? So they were keeping the inflation as a 1-digit number because the standard is a 1-digit. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it because of the foolish decisions. So suddenly the boom. The unemployment not will be the world standard, 5%. World standard is 5%. In any economy, you can't make it is 0, but 5% unemployment rate is acceptable. So that is why Sri Lanka is 4.7. not 5%, we are in the world standing. So that's why like so even though we say that like a lot of the people are migrating, the government is like they are not taking those ones in serious. Why? Because it's better you let people go. So otherwise it will affect the unemployment rate. So but the problem is only the professionals are going. So then it will be another crisis for certain sectors. So for surely they will close very soon. They will open up the door for Indians. So we'll see like a lot of Indians will come to Sri Lanka, but the Indian quality of the education is really low. If you are being treated by Indian doctors, you have to pray for yourself once you got sick. Because you are not quite sure whether you will live or die. So then so likewise. Even in the other sectors is also the same, like we can't trust the Indian labor, but they are waiting to come to Sri Lanka. So that is the economic situation when it comes to the unemployment. So how should, what are the marketing implications? I will discuss later on once I discuss all these two. So I discuss about the interest rate, I discuss about the savings and the credit availability. Also I discuss about the unemployment. And also the status of the business cycles. Of course, most of the businesses are closing down. Like they are not expanding their businesses, and some of the businesses and like closing down. I don't know whether you are aware of it and or not. Like I do have some contact with some students and like, we are in dialogue from time to time. So some of the businesses, like some foreign the governments, they sponsor some businessmen and asking those businessmen to close down their businesses and come to their country. Because they want that the technology, especially the patent right. In a very recent, there's one research group who did some particular, so she was explaining, but I couldn't understand because I was in a conversation. So my mood was somewhere else. I couldn't get the real concept. Yes, it's something that we can got from that we can use the sea water, particularly some chemical was since I'm not good at chemistry, I couldn't understand what she was telling. So then they have the one scholar from no, they were team like from Chapura and another one from another university. So they have come up with something that is the first time in the world, and they have applied for a patent in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan politician asked the percentage. So one of the scholars said that I don't want to give a single rupee for politicians because we are staying here itself, we should be paid. So in this kind of a crisis, we are not leaving the country, we anyhow do something to build up the country so that you all have to pay for us by asking permission from us. So one of the scholar migrated to US. Now they are getting the patent from the US. He lost it. And even another case, like you might have seen a crane, the crane that you are using for construction, Japan. But the Sri Lankan person invented it from Moratorium University. So requested a patent from here, same reaction. So it dragged for 2 years or so because normally average it will take 2 years. By the time of 2 years, another country would find out the technology. So your technology is already outdated. So if it is somewhere it's found out, like the number will go. So you have to be quick. So then it's been dragged. One side it's been dragged, and another side it must come. The last point, and people asking like the money out of the each product because it's out of the each product. Now the people can become a millionaires. Okay. If you find a real investor. Okay. So the person who is the work on it don't want to get single penny. Why should? So those are just two cases I know. Like very recent one, it's here already gone and she said that the person's name and now she migrated and she joined to a state university. So then we are planning to apply from there. So it will be more quick. So I know that if they apply from there, the technology goes to them. And then certainly they will find the businessmen to finance for that one. So that means they will create it and the entire world needs to purchase from them. So why not be Sri Lanka so that we can, that it's not like we have a very good brain. So that's why everywhere, like I heard a story. So why I don't know whether I should keep or not. For certain products, they specifically make for the Asian region a different version. But for the rest of the world, another version, they say that for the Asian version, so they have more chemicals. They create purposefully more chemical for the Asian version because some key, the technologically key institutes like NASA, 30% of the staff from Asian region. So that means the Asian brain is challenging the European and the US brain. So they are very afraid of Asia. So that's why they try their level best to keep the Asia down. So you see, like now the China is moving up, the Korea is moving up, the India is also moving up, and even like some you can see like any film like superheroes films. So those days, always the team is from US. They are the one they come and then rescue the world, isn't it? Because that's the perception. They want to put it to the even for the small films. Because those that's a particular age where the people really love to watch that film. Like 10, 12, 13, so likewise. Okay. So because that is how they want to position their countries in that kind of a generation of we are the leader. But now you look at nowadays series of those films, and India is also there in the team. So if someone is familiar with those films, I of course do it because my son watched, so I'm also accompanying with him. So those days it's only the US, and time to time the Africans also there, but it's US-based Africans, not the original Africans. But now Indians also there. Indian figure 1 or 2 is also there in the scientist. So that means they address it. Asia is also taking in a part and they support India. It's a one way that they're getting against China. Understand? So they say that India is more powerful than China. So because that's why they are taking Indian figures to that. So likewise, so the world is very competitive. We are losing some the patent right. So which means we are losing this. Even the existing businesses also closed down. So the one of the case like for that is the food technology, that business is still there. So he also got a scholarship from Japan and saying that in a crisis situation, saying that you can close down all your businesses. I'll give you a full scholarship. The condition is you have to bring your technology to Japan, fully establish it, and then we will give you the same facilities, but you have to make it here. But he's a kind of a different person who didn't like the personal benefit. He said that he's coming from down south. So he said that like, no, I don't want to leave the country. So anyhow, I will survive with this crisis. Still he's surviving business, but I don't know how far. At a particular point, you also will lose. You can't tolerate for the infinity period. So in a particular time, once you are tolerating as a business, so once you feel that it's enough, so it's enough, you close down everything. So we are in that kind of situation in terms of the stages of business cycle. Most of the businesses are closing down. So again, it will create another crisis because income generators and the employment generators are the ones those who are closing down their business. Understand? And how about our spending pattern? So what that we are mostly spending? From your salary?
Good.
Then after that. Once you get the salary, first thing you take the bills. Okay. Pay the bills, otherwise electricity board will cut it off, the water board will cut it off. The telephone and those ones, first to make sure that you have that infrastructure to live. Okay. Otherwise you have to live without the power. So then for rent, we pay lot. And also some of the portion is taking for the bank loan. Like that maybe for housing loan or whatever, vehicle loan. So that's taking a certain percentage. And also recently they did the restructuring of the loan. The interest again increases. The lending rate increases for those days. I don't know whether they are going to decrease again, but it's increasing. So then that means the mortgage also increases. Then after that, we have to spend, as you said, for living, consumables. So then what else? And if you have like the child who is studying, the tuition fees. Okay. So that is that's a significant portion. Okay. And for traveling, so like because the fuel expenses are going up, it's like a heck and the egg situation. You can't stay at home to work, anyway you have to go to work. If go to work, anyway you have to spend for traveling. Right? So it's like either case you can't sacrifice, anyway you have to live with it. So whenever you are spending for those kind of things, where you are cutting off, what kind of expenses you are cutting? The first thing you cut out the savings. That's already gone. Okay. Then after that, entertainment. Okay. So entertainment we are cutting, and does that mean that we are not entertaining ourselves? We do, but in a different platform. So it's a good market for telecommunication companies. Because people may not have time to go to a film hall and watch a film, and they will do it from the phone. Understand? So that's why that telecommunication companies should look at this economic environment. For these products, people won't spend. But still people entertain in which platform, so that we have provided them. And what are the other cases where we are cutting down the expenses? We won't buy any home appliances. TV, fridge, and those air conditioning, so we don't buy. It's that we don't like to buy. We like to buy, but we don't have money to buy. So that's how the industry has adjusted. So that industry also being threatened because of this economic situation, especially inflation and unemployment. And also it's reflected in the spending pattern. People don't have money because the prices are going up, so that they are spending for other categories, so they don't have anything left for buying those kind of things because they are not essential. So but still Singapore survive. How? Yes, payment plans. So they have changed their pricing policy. Instead of asking people to pay at once, so pay installment. And they say that we don't even charge interest. Is it true? No. It's a matter of a perception. If we say that, okay, this is the price if you pay at once, this is the one. And if you pay in installment, we are 3%, even 3% makes sense for us these days. Because the value is higher, so that from 500,000, 3%, it makes sense. Okay. So then you don't want to pay that interest even. So those days they did it that way. One-time payment this price, but installment payment with the interest at this much. But they won't say now anything. They will say that installment payment, no interest, this is the price. It's a matter that you are positioning it. So that we take it in that way, like we pay installment. Only thing is they look whether we can pay it. Whether we have income source, otherwise you take the stuff and you nicely stay at home. So then it's another hassle for you to take those stuff again back from those places, and some of the places things you can't remove. If it is an AC, then it's another expenses to remove it and then to whom that you are going to sell it back. It's a question. Okay. So as a business, so you have to look at those operational aspects as well. So just imagine, like since you're not finance experts, now we have a money for the value for the money. If you take 1,000 rupees today, that 1,000 rupees more valuable than 1,000 that you are getting in 3 months' time. With the inflation, it goes. Even next week, it's 1,000 rupees, and today 1,000 rupees. Today 1,000 rupees much lower than the next week. So then the house they are surviving because they get the money, like say this for a worth of 500,000 product. But you pay only maybe 20,000 each or 25,000 each. So then you are waiting for another 3 years to take the full payment, even though you are being charged interest. Sometimes you can't charge a massive interest. So that interest compared to that interest, inflation could be really high. So then the value for money is anyway going down. You understand the logic of that? even if they add the interest today, but if they are charging during a 3 years time period, during that 3 year inflation, it's going really high. So even if you add the interest here, still you are lost. Once you convert the future money into the today's money, then the policy is wrong. And you have done like financial management, isn't it? Done or not? The NPV calculation which I did for my master's was in 2008. So that the NPV calculation once you are investing today and then how about you get the return. So once you get the return in the future course, like you have to get that into the today's rate where with the inflation, so you have to discount it. So from a particular product, the company is making a loss in that case. But I don't know whether you have heard like it's the owner of the one who went to parliament. What's his name? Like the old name. Yes. Lamika Perera was the owner of Singer. So then he had declared in during the crisis, it's the highest profit he earned as a company. To convert all the pricing policy into an installment payment. No single payment. Like the majority is like installment payment, but still there's a value. How come? Because as per the theory, what we have learned, the future money is not the same value as the today's money because of the inflation. Inflation is like a rocket speed. Those are the main players in Srilanka. There are some other mind cases, but they don't go for that. That is also a point to think. Only the large companies will accommodate installment payment, but not the very small ones. Customers are paying by the credit card. Good point. Yes. That is a one payment system. Like even though like if you pay credit card, so which means from the bank you get it with the interest. Certain banks are asking certain kind, like I know that for HSBC interest rate is 15%, but Ceylon interest rate is 3 or 5%. So like certain banks they are charging different interest rate for credit card. So it's not, you don't have a problem because you are getting it from the bank as a one payment, but the customer needs to pay the credit card in installment with the interest. That is one way. And even otherwise, like even if it is a pure cash payment. Yes, for the credit card, yes, that's true, correct. Cash payment also, like yes, you're trying to say something. Yeah. So yeah, what they are doing is like yes, it's a good point. Like say if they have a particular stock, Singer and Avance, say for example, you are the owner of Singer and Avance, Singer or Avance. So you have invested your money in a particular stock. With this economic crisis, people don't have a money to spend for those kind of products. So then no one is going to come and buy. What will happen? So it's the end of your business because you have invested, no one is purchasing this. And then by the time the people want to purchase it, sometimes the technology is outdated because it's a technical product. So normally, like in the world, those kind of technology, not even home appliances, even vehicles, now we are making it for the lifetime of 5 years. So within 5 years, technology outdated. So after 5 years, you are with the outdated technology, no one wants to purchase. So the much better is like you say that, fine, you don't need to pay, you take these products out, you pay only installment. One plan is collaborated with the bank, banks through the credit card. That way, one-time payment you get. Other cases, like if the customer doesn't have credit card, still the installment payment facilities are possible. So then what they're doing is like, say you have, say 20, the smart TV, 20 customers get it, like you get the survival from the volume. The particular month, you will get a substantial amount of money that you can reinvest. Either you are reinvesting in another stock or you are reinvesting in another business. So with this economic crisis, financing is like leasing, financing. So that side is a good business. So that's why those kind of companies, they have a side business of single finance, advanced finance. So if a particular person wants to purchase something and they say that it's coming through this, but it's again in the same umbrella of single. Oh, you see how they are like circulating the cash and making the business liquidity. So every day you have a cash to reinvest. So invest, and again your stock is also being updated. Understand? So likewise, as marketers, we have to look at what's going on in the economic environment, and accordingly we have to adjust our strategies. Otherwise, we are not surviving. Like no matter how big our company is, if you are not adjusting yourself as per the environmental concerns, so that's the end of your life. You know the dinosaurs cases. No matter how big the dinosaurs are not there because they've been adapted as per the environment. But small mosquito is still living. So with the environment, like if you put the salt to the water, then they can put still the regeneration in the salt water. And that's what the eagles are still living. So they are having a lot of meat, but when they are heavy, so they are just being in a corner without eating for months and months. And so once the weight goes down, again another 35 years, the eagle lives. It's a matter of adjusting life. That's something we can learn from the animals also. As a business, we should understand this and also adjust. And as a student, you should know why the companies are changing like this and how they are addressing those ones. And outsourcing and free trade. Outsourcing means like whether we are manufacturing internally or whether we are getting it down from other companies. Mainly as Sri Lanka, we do outsourcing. That means we are good at what we are doing, like we call it as the core competency. Like you do only one task in a business and let other tasks to do by someone else. So most of the business functions are now being outsourced. Accounting is one of it. Counting a lot of accounting functions that they have taken out from the business and asking an external person to do it. Why? Why is that? Reduce the staff, yes, because you don't need to have like the full-time staff there. Because it's a matter of making that you keep all the recordings and give it to an external person, external accounting company. You have these accounts. If you have a system, so it's much more easier. You just have a one person to put all the transaction into the system, and the financial accounting preparations are outsourced. That is safe side for both reasons. One is it's a cost control, and no one knows how much is being paid for which employee. That is another strategy. Some big companies, they do it because then if it is being done by a particular employee, then that employee knows that, okay, MD salary is this, MD secretary salary is this, like these people's salary is this, but our salary is this. Automatically it goes to the rest of the staff and it demotivates the staff. So if the organization salary scale like this, the big people get the higher salary, but the small people get a small salary. So the best thing is you outsource the payroll. So then it's just a one check. So the payroll is going for respective persons to the bank and no one knows how much is being paid for each. Only that person knows. So even that, the new strategy that we are not including that in the final letter as well. Your salary scale, it says that it's agreed in the, like, in the initial, like, last stage of the interview, and that is being handled separately. And it's, you are being said that don't tell it to anyone. You will not tell because your property is also good. So that way, like, businesses also adjusting themselves for outsourcing. So how as a large scale, how this outsourcing is threatening Sri Lanka? Outsourcing, like if you are going out of the country, we call it as offshore. Off the shore, you are going to get the things done. So it's further challenge the Sri Lankan economy. How come? Outsourcing, one part is within the main concept is outsourcing, but you can get it done from a person who is within the country or out of the country. If it is going out of the country, we call it as offshoring. Sri Lanka mainly go for offshoring. That's why we have everything imported, even a soap imported. Having the green islands surrounded by waters, then we import the soap. Even a needle imported. So then even a rice imported. I heard like in one of the news it's saying that in the future like we'll have the crisis for the rice, so that we have to import some countries they ban exports. That means they manufacture for themselves and they keep reserve for their people. So our people are going behind and asking like import and have the reserve. Import and have the reserve. So that means rice production itself offshore. And in the future, like we have the food crisis. So that's why some region like the Middle Eastern, they don't have originally they don't have a base for agriculture. So what they're doing is they purchase land here. So you see like in one, the news it said that some person from Oman who had a problem, like it was a news item. Okay. So one politician threatened that Oman businessman who is having the agricultural product in Sri Lanka on his own land and that exporting everything to Oman, that because of food prices. Because that country doesn't have enough soil base, so that they are purchasing the good soil, the base country's land and purchasing and exporting. Sorry, production and exporting. So that is also taking place, but we are doing other way around, having everything with us, with all the resources, but with the systems failures, so that we are doing all those things outshoring. So then how does it really challenge Sri Lanka? We will further go down and down because of that. How come? Even though we say that like we are having independence, we don't have independence because economically we depend on others.
So $8
Yeah.
So the thing is that we are not earning dollars because everything we are importing, export.
Export. Yes, that is the simple logic. Because if we are, it's good like outsourcing, cost advantage, that's okay. If you can't do it, get it done from someone who can do it. But if you are going out of the country, you have to pay in dollars. To pay in dollars, you have to have the dollars. That means you have to earn the dollars. So in the other side, you have to export. So if the export is also not that strong enough to pay your import, what should happen is balance of payment would be a problem. You know, balance of payment, like it's we record all the cash, like foreign income and the foreign outflow, like inflow and outflow. So we don't have like from where that we get the inflow, either export, we get the dollars from the exports, or else foreign direct investment. No one will come to Sri Lanka because of the economic and the political instability. So then only thing is aid. Loans. So that's the place where we are serving. Because those are the three main sources. Either people should come and do the investments here. People don't because of the economic crisis and also political instability. And the businessmen or business also not that powerful because of the facilities and also the crisis situation. So that we are not producing for export. And the only way is IMF or whatever the loans And then again, like we are in a crisis because how we are going to pay it back is a problem. For paying again, we have to earn. And the one side, like, so that is why too much depending on outsourcing is also further make the economy worse. So what the government is doing is they are taking the loan from two sources, the foreign loans and the local loans. The foreign loans, like they ask for restructuring. The mainly who gave the loan for us, China. China said that no, we don't want to restructure. Because we have given it, you have to pay with the interest. Okay. But like IMF has given some loans, it's a lot of them with conditions that we have to fulfill those conditions. And then after that, they turn into a local loans. So local loans from whom the government is taking the loans. So where the money, not much being used. So that is a good source is EPF. Okay. Because people will get it only once they retire. So in the certain sectors, they retire at the age of 55 and some sectors it's 60, 65. So once they retire at the 65, they will live maximum of 5 years because our life expectancy is 70. So until then, it's a very good cash. Okay. So then once you basically from TB, treasury bills. So the government is issuing treasury bills and the treasury bills are mainly purchased from those funds and also banks. Banks also purchase. Okay. But the treasury bill rate is really high, the government should make that payment. So that's why recently they made a restructuring. And also these days also they're having a kind of the discussion like what the government is going to do for the EPF. Because it's perhaps a huge amount of money over there and it's not being used and it will not be used even by the people because people will not live to use it. The way that we are, the timing, because why we are living, I told you the demographic environment, but we have that kind of a nice life expectancy. Why? Because of our the vaccination system and also free health. So if these two is being challenged, automatically some of the people will die and also life expectancy will go down. So then no one is there to use the EPF. And also once the particular sectors, once the retirement age is being further postponed, like 65, it make it 70. So until 70, you don't demand the EPF. So that means you will not, before you get retired, you will die. So again, that EPF is also same. You see, like, it's Ranil Wickremesinghe is a very good person in terms of the strategy. So master brain. But we as a commercial, we should be vigilant what's going on. You should not be foolish. So you see that like as a business, whatever the industry that you are in, you should be, since you all are coming from the finance discipline, don't have a narrow focus. Look at the very broader picture, why this policy is like this. So how this affects the country, how this affects the industry, and how it affects my company. So that whenever you are going for some discussions, some people may not look at it that broader picture. So you should be capable enough to say that this is the broader picture, so that it's not just marketing, just the finance is the way that you are looking at it. So that's why I want you to have that broader picture. And also like how the marketeers are addressing this, the economic crisis nowadays. That's a general picture that we have. Some companies, they have addressed by changing the pricing policy as in the and some industry, they have changed by focusing on the deposits. They have focused now in the credit cards. And also they have a separate promotion plan in collaboration with the retail companies to use the credit card. That is all because of this economic crisis. What else? How the FMCG sector is addressing this? Now I discuss about the banking sector. Also I discuss about the home appliances sector, how it has been addressed. And also I see like what some kind of the retailing sector, like clothing retailers, shoes retailers, and the hotels, where a lot of credit card promotion is going on. Because in the hotel sector, it's also yield management is something very crucial. Because say that if you are running a hotel with the 50 rooms, if a particular day is passing with these empty 50 rooms, you are losing the profit forever because that day won't come. So that today's day won't come even if you live for infinity days. So that lose means lose. So that's why you just collaborate in this kind of a crisis. It's better you collaborate with the credit card company and put the discounts. And even like again the another sector that's badly affected was airlines. Like when a particular economy is in a crisis, people don't go out for vacation because people don't have the money to go out for vacation. So now, like, even if that is the case, certain flights, of course, you can cancel. But certain flights, either you have 5 passengers, you have to go. But sometimes the capacity is 100 passengers. But it's not even full 50%. But still you have to go. So you are not saving, at least the full you won't get from that 50 passengers. Because pricing is not that the journey cost and divided by the number of passengers, not like that way pricing. It won't work when the bigger price would be super expensive. And those 5 also may not fly. So then how those businesses are running? So that is like, it's a matter of a different pricing policy you have to do. You have to wait for some time and then you have to see like when say that the flight is supposed to leave by say September 15th. So you have to see how many seats have already been filled. Say that 20 seats are remaining. So you have to advise the people as a strategic level manager, marketing manager, say that now put these 50 seats on discounted price. So at least we can get some people to travel with us. So that we call it as a capacity utilization. Because anyway the flight is going. So why don't you get at least 3 more? And even like from that 50 seats, again it's a problem like you have to decide. Are you going to put all these 50 on discount or you are keeping like 15 for discount, 5 for normal? Because we never know that there will be one person who will willing to pay the normal price. So the one who is willing to pay the normal price, but you are asking that person to pay the discount. Again, you are losing. You see, like the marketeers, you have to think all these aspects. So in a kind of a pricing situation, that's so it's badly affect the pricing strategy. Pricing strategy has become a nightmare for market, depending on the industry. Now I discuss about the insurance fee. That's badly being affected. Not the motor insurer, but the life insurance. Why? People don't have money to pay the life insurance. And also people don't have a hope to live that long. The case because the life insurance people, they give the benefit maybe after 20 years time. So the people in that, like, we don't know whether we are going to live like this for another 20 years. So we don't want anything. I keep the money only for today's living. Logic is true, isn't it? Okay. So that industry is badly been affected because of it. Like, how about the FMCG? That's the last industry, then after the last. How the FMCG address these changes. So you see, like, whatever the supermarket you step in, everyday promotion, isn't it? Like that we call it as merchandising in marketing, like on-site promotions. Like all those promotions are cash discount. Like if you have a Nexus card in Kiehl's, so they say that today these products are discounted price, 100% discount. So it's a kind of a promotion. Because they know that unless otherwise people can't accommodate for those kind of. So that is one way it is the FMCG, the category is addressing this economic crisis. Other than that, almost all the products now they are coming in a smaller pack, isn't it? A lot of sachet things are coming, okay? Because the people can't accommodate for a big pack, so that the smaller packs have come. So that because people don't have the much of purchasing power. So what else? And even the promotions like buy one get one free, and even the biscuit prices went up, and again they are slowly coming down because people stop buying biscuits because people can live without the biscuit. Can. So that is what happened for milk powders. The people stopped having milk. And how about if you take the restaurants? For the restaurants, how does it affect? Is it good or bad? This economic crisis. I'm asking so many these different industries because I want to train your brain to look at the multiple ways so that in case, because I'm not going to give an activity from this one. So just discuss and finish it off. So that in case if I ask at the exam, you know the way that I was thinking. Restaurant, is it good or bad? Anyway, the restaurants are running well. Huh? So sometimes they may inferior the quality of the product. No one cares about the food quality, not even the government, not even the people, because not the quality, quantity is whatever available for a particular price, eat it and fulfill the hunger, that's enough. Okay. So that restaurants are running well. And also so now there is a thing like whenever you are looking at the number of members in the family, whether you have a trade-off, the cooking and purchasing outside. So it says that if you have either 4 members or less than that, better eating out more cost effective. Looking at the water, electricity, and the time and the waste. So everything is a waste. So better you take one portion of a rice and eat. That's it. So sometimes this economic crisis favors it. And also, like you might have seen when compared to just a couple of years ago, before the crisis and after during the crisis and after the crisis as well, there's so many people are coming to the street for selling, like sometimes good chemicals. Open the back door and selling small items, especially in the evening. That shows it's a reflection of a crisis. And also like a smaller version of some food item, small fish one, small rolls that you have seen. Well, the big one is 200 rupees, but we can't accommodate. But the small one is less than 100 rupees. That'd be nice and fun have because we want to have it, but we can't accommodate for that kind of a big price. That is how, from their perspective, they are addressing this economic crisis. And also, it's like the good evidence to say that Sri Lanka, where the Sri Lanka is, and also how the company should do. I hope, like from wherever that I'm going to ask question from any industry, hope you will be able to manage like how the economic crisis is being addressed by company in a particular industry. When if you want to stay down, you discuss marketing implications. That's the marketing implications. Discuss the marketing implications. Of the company operates in FMCG category. When addressing current economic environment in addressing the current economic environment in Sri Lanka. For this kind of a question, like what you have to do is you have to just explain in a one paragraph. Currently, Sri Lanka is having high inflation rate and also high unemployment. Businesses are closing down, and the people are spending mainly for living purposes. There is no investment purpose, and also for like that. There is no capacity for buying long-term products like durable products. And also like their credit availability is really low and they are not spending, they don't have money for savings, and generally they are depending on mostly outsourcing. So that is, you simply summarize all what I explained here in one paragraph. And then after that, now the scenario what I'm here is FMCG company. Just take one FMCG company could be India or it should be American or it should be Coca-Cola or whatever, and see that how their strategies are changing. Another paragraph. Shall we go to break? So we will quickly have the break, maybe 15 minutes. Okay. So try to make it in 15 minutes. Today is the last day. I'm asking that excuse because the last lecture is today for that MBA class. So have a quick break of 15 minutes and. That's one. That suddenly came to my mind. I couldn't catch it. I don't know why. I start even though the students are not there. Start after the trade correct. So even though I said like 15 minutes, we have taken like 20 minutes. So, so the next time I'll be like from after today, like I don't have a much of a schedule. The other commitment. As usual, I'll be like 20 minutes, 25 minutes break. Thanks for, by the way, for bearing me up. Okay, now we are heading to the another the nature of the environment, which is the natural environment. In the natural environment, we are simply looking at like how we are going to protect the nature. Nothing much to be discussed. Like these are some of the trends where we are running out of the some raw materials like crude oil, like what we are getting from the earth, that is from now, so that the energy cost is increasing because the fuel prices, it's all going up because we are over utilization of those crude oil because we started discussing natural environment. It's also again another common trend where the natural resources means what we are getting out of the nature. Some of the things what we are getting out of the nature is running out. Mainly the crude oil, right? Because the speed that that we are using the crude oil in terms of vehicles, in terms of other source of power, like for plants and also for vessels and also for aircraft, for all these things we need fuel. So fuel is something that we are getting from the nature. So that is one of the trends that is running out. So the energy cost is increasing. And also pollution increases. So long as the pollution increases, the government intervention also increases. The government is making close concern about like who is damaging the environment. Accordingly, like your books and rules and regulations as well. And the people talking about the environmental sustainability and the anti-pollution pressure is also increasing. Okay? That is a normal trend that's going on to protect the nature. Then how should companies address these trends? So that's what I told you, like in the environment topic, the different aspects are there. You should know what's going on and how the company should address it. Those are the 2 points that you should know. Like, how should companies address it? Environmental changes. Yeah, so you have to come across with some novel products. So, say for an example, like Toyota, they came up with the hybrid engine for the fuel efficiency. And also like some novel power sources like solar power and maybe wind power. So likewise, different alternative power sources, of course, that we have to come across. And I heard like somewhere, which I can't remember exactly who was telling it, maybe the WT or something, says that in 2030, like 60% of the power sources in the globe should convert into alternative power sources, unless otherwise all this crude oil is going to be running quickly. So other power sources means like it could be maybe electricity, especially for automobile industry that they were alarming like converting to electric vehicles. Then again, it's another thing like how the electricity is being generated. Because to generate electricity, then again, if it is depending on the diesel, then there is no mean. That should be another power source like solar, since we are in a tropical country, we are closer to the equator, so that we can easily use solar. And also some countries again use like wind power. So likewise, the company should shift it to different kind of solar system and also the wind power system. And that is, I think, happening, I think, because most of the companies now, even not even the companies, even the individuals also changing from the original the electricity, because the prices when it's going up, the initial investment, they look at the way that you are going to pay it back in terms of the electricity bill. If it's worth, the people also moving. Yeah. What are the others? Like the novelty is coming, and also the new power sources are also coming, and also like in order to protect the environment, like discouraging the polythene usage, the number of packages being used, like those days, like there might be several packages, like polythene package and then the cardboard package, or likewise, and the cardboard package is free. Only just one package, number of packages goes down. And also the use of polythene that also discouraged, but how is really going into practice to be questionable in Sri Lankan context, because even if you take like hills, they convert all the appearance and everything is making it green. But if you go to the till and so many shopping bags, you can correct. So that's, but we can't blame the one who is in the till as well, because they are being instructed. The certain things you can't mix it up with the certain things because the smell will go. Like the food item, you can't put with the soap and the detergent, because that is from the nature of the product, that should be packed separately. And that's why we are being encouraged to get the bags from home. But still, the customers are not being used to it. And there was a trend in a particular time period. And then after that, again, sometimes it's not a planned shopping. And sometimes, even if it is a planned shopping, those bags people might forget. I think we will have a habit of being used to that practice. And also the other reason is that's being failed, like there is no like alternative bags. Like You feel, I don't know how far that will agree with me. Sometimes some people will feel little inferior to have a bag like Pammal and going for market. So you feel like little inferior, you don't feel like posh if you're going to have the same bag. And also another point, like those bags that we are taking again from the nature. So again that we have to take from the nature, and then like you are discouraging polythene consumption, polythene bag usage, but you are cutting down to certain type of trees to make these bags. Then how ethical it is and how environmental friendly it is also a question. And also like even so you might have seen some the conferences where like it's talking about the environment protection, but every single the speaker and the participant is being given a water bottle. Like then that person will just have a one sip of that bottle and keep it and go. Then who is going to bring the rest? Because it's already been used. So that's like talking about big things, and what is really happening in the ground, so it's no one is concerned about it. I do remember like because you see like so many conferences are going on in Sri Lanka with so many, I think the same people might be attending for meetings and those things. So why not you can give up just one bottle and to ask those people to bring the water? Why you have to give the water? Like I do remember when I was going for a training at Monash, the 3 months program, if I'm not mistaken. So then the first thing that they did was with the access vernier, they gave a water bottle with the printed Monash, the logo and everything, the bag and the water bottle. So it shows that for these 3 years we don't give water because you see the number of days and that so we had like 15 that's been selected from around the world, and then for all 15, so each day at least 2 water bottles. So you see how many water bottles that they have to pump for that the training itself. That is what we do. It's just. But if you take like a just printed one, even if it is visual here, give it to all the employees. We don't give any water because your bottle has already been given by the company. So you have to bring the water in the bottle. So simple as such. Even if I'm doing some MBA lectures at KU, then I'm giving the plastic bottles. Then very clean the water bottle is there. You are being given water bottle, you have to bring it. Otherwise, like they have a separate water glass that's in clean and also in hidden in front of you. So you can keep it for the water. Like even small thing, as a company, you can make a big difference to protect the environment. So that is how here it says that it's not like all the big decisions, even as from a small decision, we can see how we can address these changes, these trends. And like sometimes it says the plastic, it won't degrade, they are not biodegradable. So then instead of plastic, the people say that the glass bottle would be fine. Then again, I would like the biodegradability of the glass, it's much more longer than the plastic. That also we have to consider. So it's then how we are going to address that. The environmental, the pollution issues that has become a global issue. So how we can address it? Because sometimes one alternative that we are proposing may be another waste from another side. As I said, like the polythene bag consumption goes down, but we are cutting down trees. And plastic bottle consumption, like it's discouraged, but the water bottle and even the glass bottles, the glass biodegradability is much more dangerous than that one. It will take more time. What would be the ideal solution there? Recycling, yes, recycling would be one option, and also like the ideal one is reuse. Not even recycling, but the recycling also sometimes it might need some energy. Even in a scrapyard in Europe, like the vehicle itself, it's being in a scrapyard and convert that into raw materials. Maybe iron or something like they are taking from it, just scratch it and get the iron out of that. So they say that to get that one, and it needs like huge the voltage of electricity. So in that sense, you are demanding so much of energy from the other end. So therefore, our approach says that use the product for a longer period of time. Reuse that our ancient people would use today. Like even a broom, very hard to be thrown. We use it and then we use it in the garage, and at least we take the stick and use it. We hardly throw the things, but nowadays it's a small thing that broom, like we imported one, that's if we do not use it, just throw. So we have to throw is a problem. Okay. So it's like expanding the durability is a problem, and it's the only solution to address this one. But the marketing is going against this. If you really think, because officially we say that of course we have to address these environmental changes, but other way around, we are increasing the consumption. You see number of clothes that you are having at home. Because one side you are encouraging to do shopping and collect as much as possible. You are encouraging materialistic life. So much that you are collecting, then again, how we are going to do with the replacements, like the waste. So it's like literally it's against the environment, even though we are going to do certain kind of things to protect the environment. And the other one is technological environment, where in the technological environment, these are some of the trends. The technology is drastically changing so that it provides a lot of unlimited opportunities for innovation. So that we have to spend a lot for research and development. Also, the regulation related to technology is also increasing. So now we say that we are in the industry 5.0, like not even 4.0, like almost all the industries, like the technology is really rush, like at an accelerated rate, it's increasingly in change. So because of that, some industries are being challenged. Like some professions also being challenged. Like accounting is one of the main profession that's being challenged because of the revolution of the technology, because the accountant job is being taken by the software. So that all the accounting firms, they are also doing a business. So all these accounting firms should adjust to that. So one side the companies are doing outsourcing, the other side is like it's being taken over by technology. So if that is the case, why not you train the people who can manage the technology and get the businesses and do it and earn the money? So likewise, your business model needs to be changed. And also nowadays, even what are the other sectors like the technology is really challenged. They are really challenged a lot of industries. And and also that can be nicely being used, because it would be a potential for us as well. Because if you have a business which has like 8 to 5 business, but you can make it 24/7 business with the support of AI chatbot. Have a chatbot with the like your website. Even if you are at home, he or she will take care of the whatever the customer inquiries. So likewise, as the way that the technology is being improved, you have to bring that and get the maximum benefit. That's what a lot of like retail companies are doing. Now, books, people don't purchase books. People read the books from the screen. So that if you are a book publisher, so you have to have a printed version as well as an e-version. Otherwise, no one knows that there is a book like this. So that's how that you have to change your way of doing the business. And also like the clothing retailers, now people, they have a trend of buying those products, not in physical, but in virtual. So that you have to have an online store as well. And in terms of online store, you can build up with the chatbot, the one who is assisting to find the best product. And especially in consulting, The consulting firm, of course, you have to use the chatbot, and the one who is assisting, like visa consultant, business consultants, medical consultants, even lawyers. I don't know how far the lawyers have gone up to that level, but the other three basically use it. Okay? So therefore, it provides unlimited opportunities for businesses to expand and doing their businesses in different business models. So that you have to spend a lot for research and development. Like even to take the mobile phone technology. So the technology was available and it was evolving. But if you are not adapting to that, no matter how big you are, you have to lose your position. That's what happened to Nokia. Nokia have been a brand, like the market leader for decades. So they lost the leadership to Samsung. Because Samsung who initiated with the smartphone technology and they create something new because it's their research and development budget. So that they took the copyright. So it says a lot of rules and regulations also going on. So they have the intellectual property right, basically the patent right. So they initiated the smartphones. So all the customers shifted from the traditional phone to smartphone. Then Samsung being the Korean product normally people didn't have much of a good perception as well. But still, they won the market. So the Nokia had to adopt it. Now, still the Nokia is a follower. Nokia couldn't catch up the market once they lost the position in that point, just because they are not being adapted to the technology that far. Who is initiator, who is the first in the race would be the winner. But you have to keep the first in the race by putting a lot of research and development funding. That's what the Toyota is also doing. Like the Samsung, like the Korean, as a national policy, the Korea is saying that they have the highest number of patent rights. So among the world, because the nation is in a kind of a competition to get the patent rights. Larger number of patent rights a particular country is having, they are the winners in the next generation. So like US is trying their level best, Japan is trying their level best, France, Germany, all these countries are lined up that try their level best to get the patent rights, because the patent right is a technology. So that it's a new product, so that they get the profit. So the Korea is saying that they have the large number of patent rights, so that's time to time they are using it to the world. So that Samsung phone is one of that. And likewise, I don't know, like they are not declaring it. So for them to do it, they have to have huge research and development budget. Even like Toyota is also doing it. Like the China is also moving up for the robotics. Like human robots, they also create, like you might have seen in some of the videos, and they are declaring like they are making the robotics females for the household activities, and their market, mainly they were targeting Indian market. I do remember that in one of the videos, and they say that one-time charge can work for 72 hours on the households. Okay. So it was like someone is telling that without dowry, so that you can solve all the problems in India. So whenever you are getting a lady, you have to pay the dowry to the family. The other way around of Sri Lankan culture, because we have to pay the dowry for the husband. So there are the tradition, it says you pay the dowry and you take the wife. So now you don't need to spend for dowry because one-time charge, no complaint, no pain, nothing. Okay, and even that, the very recently there's the one that they have declared the robotic. It's even though it's like robotic, it doesn't look like a robot. Like a human being, much beautiful even than us. So like normal gestures, everything like a human being. So the other one they have created, I think again it's from China, the nurse for the regular checkup of those healthcare sector, like regular checking of sugar level, pressure, those are routine work. So once it's been fed up, so she will do it and without making mistakes. Because some human errors could happen, like if it is supposed to check at 10 o'clock, sometimes nurse would check at 10:30. But the robot won't do it in that way. Exactly 10 o'clock, you check it and have it, and then it's easy for the doctor. So likewise, the technology, sometimes it's challenging certain industries. So like the healthcare sector, so those kind of robots will come to the fruition. So that the companies, whoever wants to initiate, they will make a huge investment, like the Toyota, and they are like if you take the Toyota company structure, normally they manufacture roughly 2,000-3,000 of vehicles, so not 20,000, like 30,000-20,000 vehicles per day from the belt system. But for them to manufacture that number of vehicles per day from the belt system, so they may use maybe 2,000-3,000 vehicles. It's the production plant having automated. Okay. So one part is coming and some people are just fixing up and then it goes to the next station. So likewise. So then, but in their engineering staff, like they are the one who is in the research team, maybe they have 20,000 engineers. So that's how they are keeping their pioneering position in the automobile industry for some another technology. That means they closely work with the universities. So at the university entrance itself, they say that, say for example, they closely work with the Tokyo University. So they are saying that we want these nature of engineers. We want engineers specialized for this part of the vehicle, this part of the vehicle, this part of the vehicle, this part. So human requirement has already been set. So whoever coming in the Tokyo University engineering faculty, it's mainly excel for engineering. And then the company and the university together creating that human asset. So all the projects that the person is doing within the university related to company. Company is the one who is bringing and that do this as an experiment and do it right. And that is the structure in some countries that the Ford is also doing it. Toyota is also doing it, and there will be some other companies as well, but I don't have any evidence to say, but certainly I know that Ford is doing it and Toyota is doing it. So likewise, a lot of money that they are spending for research and development. Same way, they should know the technology. Like whoever comes with something, it needs to be immediately registered and get the patent back. Because unless otherwise, if another country or another company found the same thing and once they got the patent right, then you are losing your number. So that as a company, we should also aware about that patent right getting procedure as well. So that's about the technological environment. And the last one is the political and legal environment. In the political and legal environment, where we have some rules and regulations to protect, sometimes to protect the customers and sometimes protect the companies and also to protect the society. Can you tell me, like, if I'm starting off with the easiest one, protect the consumers, what kind of rules and regulations are there in Sri Lanka? That means you and me and the consumer. Protect us, but rules and regulations. There are rules and regulations. That's why I'm asking. This is a kind of a big question mark. Are there any like that? What kind of rules and regulations are there? Any examples? Consumer Protection Authorities making some rules, correct? Consumer Protection Act, valid and something, but I don't know how we are being protected. And ethical standards that is to protect us. Then again, it's a big question mark because can you remember, like, the one time there was something it's going on, like in a coconut oil, I suppose. Some cancer causing the ingredients are there, and the head of SLS, the lady who came to the media and said that. Anyway, like the small percentage having it's totally fine. That means even a poison, small percentage is fine. So that it's okay if I said or you said. The person who is just, you have to look at the position that you are holding. You are there to implement the policies to maintain the standards. So if that is the case, so you can imagine like the meaning of SLS standards. It reflects because the standard it doesn't have a life. No? So life is being given by the human factor. The human factor should give a value to it. If the human factor is thinking like that poison, eating poison in a small portion is fine. They are not being protected. Okay. What else? PHI, yes. PHI is visiting. So given that the PHI is not getting the right. So, and also like, I think in a restaurant, annually you have to get that certification from the municipal council, whether you are a grade 1, B grade 1 or something like that. What they are doing is they just train it and show it in a way that the customers can. It's also legally funded. You have to show it. Okay? And even in the salon also you do it like to protect the customers. They say that, okay, because it's something which has a human touch. There's something to the human body burn up with that. So therefore, it should be a trained staff, and you have been given the authority to handle the human factor. So that's why for the salon, even for the hospitals, pharmacies, and even what's that one I said, restaurant. Okay, they have to have the annual review and make it updated. That is to protect the consumers. And that part is coming to the protect the society as well, because the consumer is also part of the society. So that means automatically society, that all what we are discussing under consumer protection, that is coming under the protection of the society. The other than that, sometimes like especially in the advertising field, in order to protect the society, they keep some kind of rules and regulations. Especially whenever you are speaking to children, because children is our next generation, the one thing, and the companies, they very much love to address children. Why is that? If you look at most of the commercials, they are addressing the children, and at least the children is in the commercial. Why is that? Get a lot of advertisements, like mainly for soap, it's there, and also for some milk products, the children are present. The yogurts, children are present. So many things that we are using children. Either we are passing message to children, or the children in the scene. What could be the reason why the marketing companies are so much love to get the children involved?
Future customer.
Yes, they are the future customers. Because once they get adapted with something, so they won't change it. They fall in love with the taste and that habit. That's one thing. And also, they are very good influencers to the family. So because in Asian culture, like it's not like, okay, you do your work and I do my work. We don't think in that way. Still, I don't know how about in the future. Okay. So then we give the priority for the family. So therefore, and with the 1 or 2 children concept, if we have like the cricket team, it's okay. No matter one person is telling, then you are getting the priority for the other one. But if you are having a small family, either 1 or 2 these days, so that person is getting powerful. It's a very good influence. So that's because of those 2 reasons. Marketing companies, they are very much focused on giving something and changing the people, the children, and their habits. So, but also the other reason is children are very good imitators. They quickly imitate. So no matter whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So that's why, and some even though it is not ethical, so tobacco companies, alcohol, drugs these days. So where they are targets? Schools. Schools in the generation, in the age of 12, 13, 14. So where they are very curious about the what's now. That's the age, not less than 10 and not more than 80. So it's in between 10 and 80. So your personality is changing so that you want to expose to novel things. So that you try to experiment always new things because you want to see that what's going on. So that because you try to imitate and you are very curiosity about what's novel. So that's a good mark. It's a good way that you can attract it. But at the same time, we have to protect it because they are the next generation. So some rules and regulations are there for the advertising. Like they say that if you are telling something to children, you have to be careful to make sure that they are not getting a bad habit out of it. If so, that advertisement is going to be bad. Like there was one case in Sri Lanka, the Samahan advertisement. I don't know whether you remember or not. That Samahan advertisement, the girl who is like 8 to 10 years old, like he's coming after the school, he will be informed or not, which I can't exactly remember. So that girl is doing all the naughty things. I mean, like eating without washing the hand. Okay. Then the mother is telling her, don't do it, you get sick. And her response to mother was, no, I'm all right because I did something. And another time she just went to the rain and without umbrella and without a protection. So then the mother again from the inside of the house shouting like, don't do it because you get sick. Then again her response is, I'm totally fine because I'm with someone. Can you remember that? It was banned. Because if they want to pass a message, so long as you are with someone, you are being protected with those kind of germs and those kind of things. But the children would take it in another way around, like we should not listen to parents. It's bad. So there was another advertisement like it's from New Delhi. It's a yogurt. Like the mother is coming after the work with the yogurt in a shopping bag, and she was just knocking the main door, and no one was around. And she just entered to the room, the living room, and then kept the yogurt on the table, looking for children. And two children was coming from the other way around and taking the yogurt from the table and going to a corner and under the table or something. I can't remember exactly. And eating. That was a bad because it passed a message that because anyway that yogurt is for children, so why they stole it? They should not store it. So it's a pass a message like stealing stuff from the parents would be interesting. So they interpret it in that way. So that also say that don't put it in a public, so it's banned. Likewise, in the film industry, so many restrictions are there in the film industry because from a film, a particular lesson is going to the community. So what lesson is the one that the authority to check it? If it is a bad lesson, they say that we can't give the authority. So that is all to protect the society. How about to protect the companies? What kind of rules and regulations are there to protect the company? Sometimes tax reliefs for the company which has already been established. So there are some tax concessions. And also like for some small players, again, there are some tax concessions. That is just to protect the company. And from the marketing perspective, like again, it's in the commercial, it says in the marketing, what we're basically doing is we are saying our brand is much more better than the competitors' brand. That is the basically so that we could be customers requirement better than competitors. That's the idea behind marketing. So in almost all the commercial, it says that we are the best. Our brand is the best. And some they compare with the competitors' brand, some without comparing it. If you are comparing with the competitors' brand, you can't use the brand of the competitor as per the Sri Lankan law. But in European law, that's possible. In Europe, you say that take the competitor's brand and your brand, and you say that my brand is good, better than this brand because of these different reasons. It's possible. It's accepted in that country, but it's not accepted in trademark. So that's why you might have seen like when Lifebuoy is saying that their germ killing ability is much more better than Dettol, but in a particular place, they divide the screen into two. One side Lifebuoy with the brand and everything, and the other side green color, no brand. It's implied green is Dettol, but you are not supposed to use the brand. And the very recent, I think that still that advertisement is in play. The lady who is coming with the blue top and asking from another lady, my son is having a toothache, can I have a bit of a clove? And that lady with the red top and giving, okay, for today you take this clove, but from tomorrow you will take this toothpaste, clove. Then who is that blue lady? It's because the signal weakness is you don't have a clove, so that signal customers are having that problem, but you can't tell with the brand. So likewise, in the advertising field, there are some restrictions, and also one more thing is that, like when an advertising firm is handling a one customer, say that if I'm Munchie, so if you are the advertising firm and if I'm giving my the advertising campaign to you, you are appointing team. They're headed by a particular we call it as creative director, one creative director and the team. And if Maliban is being handled by a particular creative director, say for about 2 years, that director and the team can't handle much. Because it's a matter of passing the concepts. If that creative director is handling Munchie one for 3 years, can't exactly remember 3 years or 5 years, that cannot be under another competitor's plan because idea might be doing. This is a matter of just keeping the idea, the creativity only for that client. So likewise, some rules are there to protect the companies as well. One last question of this topic. Now you have seen in the cigarette packets, like the bad side of smoking, you have to show, I think in a way to represent 80% of the package. So that's why they have given a huge the photograph and saying that the smoking causes cancer, but it in a very tiny letters. So it is a law. So it's a legal requirement. So which address which aspect of protection? Customer, not for customer protection, social protection, because like the people those who are smoking, you know that you have seen it, but you pretend that you have not seen it. Okay? Not to protect the customer, you can't protect from that, just to protect the society. So with that one, environment is finished because I'm not going to discuss the social cultural environment because in the next topic, anyway, I'm discussing it as per the consumer behavior. So that I finish that topic and then so we are heading to a new topic called consumer markets and consumer behavior. I think that is. Okay, now can you all tell me what's the difference between consumer and the customer? Are they the same or the different? Customer and the consumer. Is it the same person or different person? Different person. Yes, what's the difference? Sometimes would be the same. Like if you the consumer basically consuming the one who purchases. Okay. So in this topic, I'm talking about the person who is buying something for consumption purpose. Can you remember that I discussed 5 types of market? Consumer market, business market, reseller market, international market, and the government market. So out of which, under this topic, I'm talking about the consumer market, that is the people who purchase the product for the consumption purpose, either their personal consumption or the household consumption. So that's what here it says, that all the individuals and the household who buy and acquire goods and services for personal consumption. So the buying behavior means they are buying behavior. Individuals and households that buy goods and services for personal. So now, like when I was talking about the environment, I said that I'm not discussing the micro environment because I'm going to take the consumer separately and the competitor separately. So now I'm going to take the consumer separately. We're going to study about their behavior. So that means the people's behavior, isn't it? So we are going to study about the people's behavior. So in marketing, we say we should understand the customer and fulfill their requirement, and we have to keep them happy. So basically, if I put it in a normal sense, that is marketing words. So if I'm using a normal sense, like you have to understand people and you have to give what they want, and so that you have to keep them happy. First one itself is hard, understanding the person. So why is hard? Yes, they always change. Like morning it's very friendly, but afternoon, no reason, not even look at you. You don't know the reason. He or she knows the reason. People are like that. It's like a sky. Morning very bright, but when you go home, don't know whether it will be heavy rain. That's one reason. Other reason, since they are highly volatile, we can't make the predictions. Without reason, they change. Today you like vanilla ice cream, morning, but afternoon you don't want to have like that. Someone asked from you why? Don't know. So without reason, we are okay to change, and so that it's hard to predict. We can't make the predictions what would happen next. And what's the other reason? Those are two reasons. One, they are highly changing, so that it's hard to predict. And other reason, people are really diverse. Like even if you look at the, if you have brothers and sisters at home, same mother and father, same family, same background, but two different. And you just look at the, like just sit down, watch the TV. How many times that you are fighting for the remote? So simple as such. People need diversity. Okay? Even between brothers and sisters, not ideally same in terms of the appearance, but in terms of the character, totally different. So then, as that is like for the normal behavior. So as a marketeers, you have to understand. As a nature, there are characteristics and how they make decision, no one knows. Even our characteristic, we don't know. And how we make decision, we don't know. Agree? If I ask you to explain yourself, you will tell only your demographics. This is my name. This is how old I am. And I have the English place. That's all demographics. That's not you. Also, you don't know how you make decisions. If you know you won't make foolish decision in your life, you look at your life in the back and how many foolish decisions you have made because you don't know why you made that foolish decision. That's the nature. So that's why we call like if we take a buyer, the buyer's characteristics and the behavior, it's like a black box. No one knows how it's going on. So then how we are going to understand it? How do you understand human being? These all are corporates, these all are working out. How you do it? You are living with the people. You understand? Yes, my experience. Okay. So the experience is the only way, like, for you to understand human being. Because if you are being exposed to, say, 10 people, you know only 10 characters. But if you are being exposed to 50 people, you know 50 characters. So the 51 is easy to understand. But the 11th one is hard to understand because you have a very narrow scope. So that's why with the experience, especially in the marketing field, with the experience you can score. And also you have to start the experience from the ground because you have to live with the customers. So once you live with the customers, then you can see how the customers are behaving. So that is what we call stimulus response model. Like only way that we can understand a human being through the experience of how these people are responding to stimulus. Just imagine you have a person nicely sitting down in a corner, not doing anything, not even talking, and nothing. Can you understand? You just make that person angry. That you can understand how that person's behavior is. So likewise, we can look at the behavior, the attitude that person is having, and the way that the person is having the relationship with the people, how they're responding to some stimuli. Some of those stimuli are marketing related stimuli and some are general stimuli. Like, say for an example, if Melbourne introduce the spicy flavor biscuit, it's a prediction that the people will like. First you predict. But the reality, how do you know? Issue that to the market, see whether what? People buy it or not. It's a behavior. If people buy it, then you know that the people like it. If they don't buy it, then you know that they don't like it. Understand? So therefore, it is just by looking at the people's behavior, we can only understand whether they like it or not. Even I told you like the DSI KBC Gen, we thought that they will buy, but then we realized they don't like. Because not because of the product, but because of the place that we went. And also the promotion and everything, it's the same. And even for these other stimulus, even other stimulus like say if the technology is changing, whether people like it or not, we can understand just by looking at their behavior. If many people purchase smartphones, and then we know that they like smart technology. Understand? So then, who came up with that? Looking at this behavior, only we can understand human being. This is a psychological thing, right? That we are borrowing this one from the field of psychology. There is a person called Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud is a great psychologist who says that we can look at the people and also like we can understand this is how they are being behaving. But since he can't use human being for his research, what he refers, he has used by the human being cannot be used for research purpose because human being is a valuable asset. Normally, we can't use human being for experiments because I don't know whether you have heard about that drama. I can't remember exactly the name. that particular person was looking to a kind of a research, and he was in an unconscious mind, and in a particular point, the person got a conscious mind. But by that time, person is not in a normal mind. So came out from the research, the lab, and destroyed the entire the environment, like all the people that is coming out, the facing thing. So likewise, normally we don't take the human being for research purposes, because the mind, if the mind is out upset, so then it's called the burst of the environment. So then normally what the Sigmund Freud did was he had been substitute for the monkeys and the dogs, unfortunately. So it means like our behavior is something like dogs and also the monkeys. There is something called Pavlovian theory, where he says that the people can be conditioned. What he did was, he took a dog and he rang a bell to the dog. And then in a particular time, in a particular rhythm, so then the dog is soon after that, the ringing sound is being familiar to the dog, the hearing, the dog is ready for the food. So it's being repeatedly done, and then that means we can condition. So we also having the same experience. Just imagine like you have a habit of having your dinner with a particular TV program. It's going at 8 o'clock. Even if you ate at 7, 8, you feel like you're having a dinner instead. So that means we have been conditioned. And if you have a habit of getting up in a particular time in the morning, sleeping at a particular time in the night, even without having a work, you can't sleep before that. Even without work, you get up at that time. You don't need any alarm because we have been conditioned. And also, like if you have a habit of completing your food with the dessert, no matter how rich is your food, you don't feel like the meal is complete because you don't have the dessert. Understand? So that means people can be conditioned, but it's just the way that you look at the behavior and how people are reacting to certain things. That is what is called stimulus response model. The topic is stimulus response model. Also, it's called as bio-behavior model. Model of consumer behavior, that is one word is being given. Also, it's being said stimulus response model. Stimulus response model. As consumers, highly volatile, as consumers, highly volatile, consequently unpredictable, and highly diverse, It is challenging. For customers. It is challenging for customers to understand their behavior. As well as the characteristics. Therefore, it is called as Buyer's characteristics and the decision making. Buyer's characteristics and the decision making. Are in a black box. However, with the support of some psychological theories, with the support of some psychological theories, the buyer's behavior can be understood. Specifically by observing their response for stimuli. Their response for stimuli. Stimuli are in two types. Marketing stimuli. It includes product, price, place, promotion. Marketing stimuli. It includes product, price, place, promotion. And the other one is other stimuli. Other environmental forces. Like physical forces, external factors, economic and the social, cultural, any whatever the changes that's going on in the physical environment. For an example, if a company introduces a particular product, by observing customers' attitude, their purchase behavior, and how much they loyal to that brand, reflect whether such customers like such product or not. So therefore, likewise, you can give examples for each case, but I'm giving only one example. Like when a particular product is being offered, like only way that we can look at is looking at their behavior. And I'll give you just share one actual example that's happened in India. So it's the particular ice cream brand, one of the leading ice cream brand in India. So the marketing person has been given a task. So whatever the promotion that we are doing to increase the sales, it's hard to increase the sales of that ice cream brand. So that it was handled by one of my students, like I was also like remotely advising him. So then what we did was like we asked we started the journey like spending maybe 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. He spent about like 2 weeks in the market. Like he's like heading, I think, more than 50 countries for that particular brand, but going with the sales staff in the bike, with the hard environment in the India, because you can imagine like it's not that comfortable in India. He said that like whenever I went with in the scooter with all these hassles, 2 weeks and spend in the market. So spend in the market means not simply spending in the market, just observing how people purchase ice cream. So then we realized like ice cream is the last item in the shopping list. Why? When a particular person is shopping, ice cream is the last item. Why keeping ice cream as the last item? Otherwise, it's melt because in a tropical country, so we can't purchase ice cream at first. So that like sometime in a big shopping mall, the people lazy to go from this corner to another corner where the frozen items are there just to get the ice cream. That's one reason people are reluctant to buy, because just that person has not asked from the people, because once he asks, sometimes they might tell different stories. It was like observing how about the shopping behavior. So it's talking about the behavior, response. And other reason is some other cases where even though the children are asking it, the mothers like there is a tendency since the money has already spent for other items, the money is left to buy ice cream, and ice cream is not an essential product. Then automatically it's cutting down from the list. And even though the children are the ones, like they are from the promotion, so they try to attract the children, but even if the parents going with the children for shopping, like the children quickly forgets the thing. Okay? So when they see something attractive and they forget that they want ice cream, so they can easily be cheated. Okay? So that's why like even a very small one, like show that the bird is flying, just put the food inside them. Okay? Because you don't know, like they're just looking at the birds, so you can easily be cheated. So they are like, so then what we did first, looking at, okay, this is the behavior, how people purchase and ice cream. So he said that, okay, you have to have a bit of an investment, have the vending machine or the kind of a storage closer to the counter with a glass door where everyone can see different colors of ice cream. So the sales increased by 20%. Because even though now it's the last item, you don't need to go to that corner in the shopping mall to get it because it's close by. It's closer to the till. And the other reason is that since it's closer to the till, the children also can see. They don't forget it. So the mother needs to cut down another item and needs to buy that ice cream. Otherwise, that child is going to cry. Because in the Asian culture, so you can't eat the child also. Because in the social perception is something different. Usually this mother is buying everything and then that poor child is asking a small ice cream. My mother is so really want to accommodate that one. So the people are very much concerned about the dignity. So that cut down another item, have ice cream for that child. Stop crying. So the sales increased by 20%. So likewise, it says that if you want to study the market, the consumer behavior, that should start from the ground. So that's the only logic, no matter how big position that the marketing person is doing. The starting is the different because the different cultures are having different purchasing habits. I'm sharing all these things because you all are corporates and you all are attending meetings. And also you have to bring that to your company and your business, even though you are experts in finance. So sometimes the marketing people will not get those things into the mind, thinking that they are in the white collar job, they don't want to move into the ground. If they can't go, let someone else to observe it and come. So now let's see, the other thing is now that is what is called the stimulus response model. So we know that we are looking at it. That's the only way we can look at the customers. Now the other one which I'm going to discuss with you, whenever we look at the way that the people behave, so many factors are influencing how you and me behave. Okay? Those factors that's been clustered into like 4 areas: culture, social factors, personal factors, and psychological factors. So now what I'm going to do is I'm taking one at a time and explain how these are influencing you and me. We know that culture is something, the way that we live, it's our values, perception, the bonds, behavior. That's something we learn by a member of the society, maybe from the family or maybe some other important institution. So culture is not something we born with. It is something we learn. Example. How do you know that we have learned the culture from someone? Basically, it's from the family. Don't keep your head down and think it's so simple, like who asked you to eat from the hand? Your parents. So that's why since then still we are using hands as agents. So likewise, every single thing, like the eating on a table, and this is how you have to eat, this is how you have to greet, and this is how you have to speak to a person. So every single thing, that's not something we are coming from the next birth with the bond. Okay? That's something we learn. So that will guide how we behave. Okay? Culture is the most basic things that really guide how the person is behaved. Like, so how the marketing should act. Each culture is having each attribute, each way of consuming the stuff. How should marketers act? Like this way. If we take McDonald's. So when it comes to McDonald's, if McDonald's is opening up a branch in India, they should not have beef. Because cow is a kind of a thing that they worship. So if you are having a McDonald's branch over there with the menu item of beef, it will not work. So it's a cultural adaptation. The company should know it. And if to McDonald's, which is having a branch in Middle Eastern, you can't have a pork. But for Europe, you can have it. And even in Sri Lanka, so the most of the items, chicken. So we don't eat much other items, other meat, so that the sale of the other items is not high as the chicken-based items. So that we should know like how we are going to weigh for different kind of meat. And even like spices level. So for European market, they give this kind of spices level, they never come back. So that for even among the Asia, Sri Lankan, we are having a bit of a high spice for the Sri Lankan market, so you have to give that spice. Okay, so that's how even the multinational the food chain is changing as per the culture. Otherwise, you can't survive. Even the toppings of pizza coming up, they are changing the toppings as per the Sri Lankan flavor. And the pizza, the very recently, like they had seen someone cheese, totally Sri Lankan customization, isn't it? So likewise, so you have to adapt to a particular culture, otherwise you won't be able to survive in that. Like there are some certain cases where, like if we take Coca-Cola. So when the Coca-Cola is expanding its market to Japan, even they couldn't go with the red color. Because as per the Japanese culture, those days, they believe like drinking something red means drinking blood. They have their perception, it's a cultural perception. So what the Coca-Cola had to do is they had to change into yellowish color. Why yellowish? Why not green or blue or some other colors? Because Japanese people, they have a culture of having green tea. They are very much fond of having green tea. So that once you make the green tea, it is coming in yellowish color. So that is the cultural perception for the drink. So that Coca-Cola had to change even the total production formula whenever they are entering into Japan. Then only people accepted it as a drink. And then slowly they changed the color, and now they are going to the normal color of red. And even now also the Coke, which has a two different tastes for Asian market and for European market. For Asian market, Coke is very sweet because we are sweet lovers. So the production formula, they put a little bit of sweet for the Asian market. But European people, they are not sweet lovers, they're a bit of a bitter. So it's a totally different production, even though the product identically look like, but the taste is good. So what are the other examples? Like even another Coke, like it's just the product change, but even the distribution. Also, sometimes you might have to change whenever you are going to another culture. In Japan, the people don't purchase, they don't have the habit of purchasing the drinks and those snacks from a convenience shop. They mainly go with the vending machines. Why? Because they have mainly their transport system, they have a jet system, just in time. So like in the metro, like in Tokyo, where the railway station for 8 floors up and 8 floors down. Underground also you might have 8 floors. So then in a particular train is coming in the 8th floor underground. So then you have to get it down and then you have to pick up the lift. So that you have to walk in a particular speed to pick up the lift. Otherwise the lift will go to the next ground. And from the next ground, if you are not picking up that lift, you are not picking up that train that's going from there. So that's why the Japanese people, you always see that they are walking very fast, like machine. So that is just something like that's being part of their culture. So therefore, even if they stop for a drink or a snack, they miss that lift. They are missing that lift, they are missing the train also. So therefore, like everywhere, wherever they communicate, like the bus stations and the railway station, vending machines are there. It's whenever you are moved, you can put cash and get the snacks and the drinks. So the Coca-Cola have to reinvest in the vending machines if you want to establish your distribution in the Japan. But for the rest of the world, you can simply give it to supermarkets and the convenience shops and the hotel, but it didn't work in Japan because of cultural differences. Understand? And even Islamic country, that is especially like some personal care products like soap, they're very particular on what is it made of, because they don't want to see that if it is made of like some animal oil, they don't accept it because they don't know which kind of animal oil that they're being used, especially in the Middle Eastern market, which affiliated with the culture. You have to change the production formula. And even the cream, they don't want to have the cream with the fragrance because culturally they believe like the fragrance which has alcohol, so we are alcohol free, we don't want it. So likewise, it's a very crucial thing when you are doing marketing with the different cultures. One point for you to think, like Gillette braces. When Gillette wants to enter to Iran is a mainly Islamic country. So in that Islamic country, unlike the Sri Lankan Islamics, where that it's been prohibited the shaving. So that you might see like the Middle Eastern people with a long beard. So Iran is also the part of that culture. So that publicly you can't say that this is for shaving purposes. It's banned. Culturally, it's not allowed. So how the that might have ended? As I say that some of the things we can adapt ourselves and enter. Some cases, even it's a full ban. There is no way of entry. But if you are a real marketer, you should again twist your strategy. It went to the market as a medical product because it's launched to the hospital chain. So publicly, you can't say that this is for sharing in the hospital, like head injuries or something happened, the razors are required. So then it's a medical equipment, it's not a personal care product. You see, the marketeers had to look at the different use of the same product just because of the cultural ban. So then it was available as a medical equipment. So then it entered the market. Whoever wants it can't promote it, but who wants it, take it. There was a case in Sri Lanka as well. So Nescafe. So why they introduced Nestle? Because Sri Lankans are tea lovers. So that the tea is our main drink. So once it's claimed as Nescafe, we may not accept it. So they had to change the entire production formula, get the tea flavor, and even the brand also changed. Nestea. Nest brand came along with the tea. Take some examples. Cultural factors affecting the topic is this. Factors influencing consumer behavior. The cultural factors. In cultural factors, you write down culture. Under cultural factors, culture. So under culture, just take down only the examples, explanation that you can develop by yourself. Examples: Coca-Cola change the color into yellowish. Coca-Cola changed the color into yellowish when entering into Japan. Nescafe introduced Nestea. Nescafe, other example, Nescafe introduced Nestea when entering to Sri Lanka. McDonald's, example, McDonald's localize their menus. McDonald's localize their menu according to the culture. Within bracket, no beef in India. Command, no pork in Middle East. Command, and rice in Sri Lanka. So other places like they don't have something called rice. It's in Sri Lanka because So why the MAC rice is being offered in Sri Lanka? Because otherwise we might think we have not eaten. We have not eaten, right? So we might think that we have not eaten. And also it says that the culture is something learned. The culture is something learned. So how we can teach the culture? How the companies can teach the culture to us? Can you think an example? How the company can teach the culture for a particular culture. Yes, from like this inculcate certain cultural attributes for service organization or any kind of organization that's possible. Or else like to the general customers, for the general community. Like again, I can give you an example from Sri Lanka. So there are certain the cultures where the you can easily teach. You can easily change them. Sri Lanka is one of that. Why? Because we have basically polycentric mindset. Like basically we can see two types of people, ethnocentric people and polycentric people. Ethnocentric people means they love their products, local products like Indians and the Chinese, Japanese. So they are ethnocentric people, hard to change. Because they have certain roots that has gone in the culture, it's very difficult to change. But some people, opposite, polycentric, like that. We love imported product, not the local product. Okay? If you have like two products and saying that, okay, this is imported and this is local, so it's expensive just because it's imported. So therefore, even for local one, the people have to say that it's important, otherwise people won't buy it. So that is our mindset. I don't know from where that we got it. Like we have been colonized for so many decades. Maybe the reason. I don't know. Like for some reason, some cultural people are polycentric. So that means it's easily we can change them. So what the Nescafe did was the one approach they adapt to the culture. They introduce Nestea so that our people accept it. But for that time period, the coffee concept for our mind, it was an occasional product, occasional use. We use coffee only if we have a tummy problem, also only like if it is cool. Okay? It's occasional consumption. But after that, they introduced the coffee shop concept to Sri Lanka, especially among the teenagers. Like barista and some coffee shops, they introduce it as a affluent product, tasteful product. So established coffee shops around the Colombo area. And they create a fashion of going to coffee shops from the commercials and being exposed to information. So likewise, then there was a crowd, especially teenagers, because the crowd can easily be influenced. So then they want to just listen to some of some of the small ones, like teenagers, like very young people. This was speaking. They won't say, let's go for a tea. Tea become inferior. They say that let's go for a coffee. Coffee become posh. Tea now become very inferior. That was created by multinational. So then everyone accepted coffee. Now that has become even for the challenge to a local tea. Even if you go to a shop, so if you have two options, whether you are going for local tea or a Nescafe, suddenly you will opt for Nescafe. That's from it has been challenged. So even the tea, it had been there for generations and generations. That slowly Nescafe has taken the mindset change from occasional consumption to regular consumption, and we accept the coffee with the tea, with the Ernest brand. So likewise, people can teach us. The culture can be changed. So there's an example, take it down. In some multinational companies change the culture. Change the culture. Example, the launch of Nescafe, to the Sri Lankan market, along with the coffee drinking culture, inculcated through coffee shops concept. That's enough for today. So today is the last day which I'm asking the help from you. Then after that, from next week onward, I will have to class until. We'll stop for today. We'll see you next week.